From North Pole, New York to Rudolph, Wisconsin. From Eggnog, Utah to Snowflake, Arizona. Let's ride. We want to ride shotgun with you for the next hour, talking trucking with Deaton and Doty. How's it going, everybody?
Yo. Hello.
Very good. Hey.
Hello there.
I'm going good.
Tom's on here with us today. Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard of Eggnog, Utah?
No.
No.
So welcome to episode 35. 35.
Woo.
Yeah. Today on the show, joining us this week, as always, Christian Sneed, Ray, Jim Mackey, Nate, and Kevin, and the original Florida man, Mike Doty. In studio here, Kumar, Ian, and Zach.
Hello.
And we're missing Joel today, and I'll tell you why. Joel is having a colonoscopy tomorrow, and he is
Clearing out his system.
Clearing out his system today, and he's really big on awareness, so he asked that we'd give him a call and check on him this evening while he's drinking. What's it called, Zach?
Go Lightly.
Go Lightly is the
GI
drink
cocktail.
concoction that he has to.
What is it else known as? Peg?
Peg 3350,
3350.
which is the active ingredient in it. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so Joel wants to get the awareness out there because it can save your life by getting a colonoscopy. And it's just routine. Joel's fine, but he worked remotely today from the toilet at home.
The Oval Office.
Yeah. So, and I will say I'm going to be 50 in April. And my last doctor's appointment, she asked me, so have you ever had a colonoscopy? And I said, no. I thought you do that after 50. And she goes, well, you do. I'm just checking to see if you've ever had one, because sometimes if you're younger and there was a need for it, they will. So she said, well, we'll order one after April when you turn 50. So I know I'm in for it too. Joel's going to give me the play-by-play tomorrow and let me know how it goes. So anyway, also the pick'em this week. So I'll start from who lost. Let's see here.
Are you going to leave
Berkey.
somebody? Are you going to leave somebody out like Joel does? Just
No,
so
I
like he's here in
actually
spirit?
covered. He did. He did leave Doty out, but we covered it. We got it today.
Nice.
And Doty didn't lose. He was close, but Berkey lost at 7 wins, and then I was second to last at 7 wins. Doty had 8. Johnny 5 had 8.
Wait, you both
Wait a
had
minute, you both had 7 wins.
loss, or wins?
Who's to
Oh,
say?
wait.
Who's
So
to
you
say
both
which one?
lost.
Well, Joel said Berkey lost.
Well,
so.
Sounds like you-
say
Wait
you
a minute.
both lost.
You got to think about it. If the drivers lose, I have to pay the pot. So
That's a
somebody's
different game.
got to. Yeah. So anyway,
So it sounds like you and Burke both have Coom.
Berkey and I will talk about this tomorrow. Anyway. Or maybe Christian takes the drivers this week. How about that, Christian? And Berkey
Absolutely.
and I.
100%. I'll take it
All
this
right.
week.
So then
That's all
I'll
the
pay.
Wait, I sent him the. Oh wait, never mind. That's fine.
Then Berkey and I will both pay 20 if Kumar loses. So we got Kumar. That'll work. So solved. Doty had 8, Johnny 5, 8, Ray had 8 wins, Ian had 8, Joel had 9, Jim Mackey had 9. 2 guys left, Christian.
Did it happen?
Kumar had 9, and Christian always wins. Sneed had 10.
That's only one win for the second half. So we got some-
Congratulations.
So in the standings, well, Joel had this all wrong last week, so we went back and looked today. In the standings, Ian has 1 win, Kumar has 1 win, and now Christian has 1 win. So write that down,
Oh,
Christian.
I'm writing it down. Don't worry. I'm writing
1-1-1. So it's all tied up for the second half of the football pick'em contest at 1. So yeah, so that's how we'll keep it there. I got my notes. I also went through. I'm gonna do some sports. Just recap a couple things because Joel's on the toilet tonight. So he gave me all his notes. He left here, and I will tell you, he had the college football, the top 10. He had a couple of the teams wrong, and he also had some of the standings in the NFL wrong. So I'm going to start double-checking his work every week. I called him and told him. He was like, oh, yeah, I was busy trying to book a load.
Multitasker.
Yeah, he's trying to do something with a load right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope there's a lumper.
Yeah. But hey, Tom, let's get into some what's going on in the reefer market. It was pretty cool. Tom went viral last week on our TikTok.
Tic-tac.
I called him and said, "Hey, you're going viral on TikTok," and he didn't even know what it was. He said, and today he said, "What did he say, Kumar?"
Tiki cup.
He said, "I downloaded Tiki Cup today." So Tom, what's
Close
happening?
enough.
Yeah, close enough.
All
I wonder
got
what
to
it is
say,
he downloaded.
Hey, real quick, the NFL this weekend.
Yeah.
Can you? Ooh, I almost got an air horn. Can you believe the Detroit Lions won their first friggin' game?
Tom, you're
Barely.
taking away from my sports. That was one of my headlines.
Let's go to sports.
Really was
At-
amazing, though.
At 1-10-1. So Detroit has 1 win, 10 losses, and 1 tie, which was the Steelers. Detroit, a nice win against Minnesota, who's a pretty good team. And actually, they're in the playoff hunt, too. I don't think that hurt them, but Tom's from Detroit originally, so that's his team. So, Tom, fill us in a little bit about what you've been doing or what the plan is with some of these reefers.
Reefers are been weird this week. I had a tough week. It's of course I didn't have any West Coast trucks this week. Next week I'm gonna have a bunch of them, but seems to tighten up a little bit. Georgia's getting better. Seems to be more freight on the lane that I use because I always try to get everybody back to Michigan.
So speaking of tightening up, though, Tom, I did hear today that the same thing, that reefer hadn't bounced back as much as they thought it would after the couple day break on the Thanksgiving weekend. The volume was down a little in the overall as a whole in the country.
It does that every year. Now we're going to have a push for the Christmas push, then it'll fall off again until it gets back to kind of normal. But people are already calling me wanting West Coast trucks because I think the rates are going to, the next 10 days out of Cali coming east are going to skyrocket.
Speaking of that, 94 container ships, or 96 at anchor, Tom, with a 21-day average sitting off the coast of Long Beach, and then 56 outside the 40-mile mark, which is what we talked about last week's drifting. So it's still getting, it's not getting any better out there.
No, and they say, this 24-hour thing, but the flatbed rates are still in the toilet out there.
Which is seasonal. Some of it is seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then it doesn't help when we got drivers with no tarps. But
Tom's biggest battle.
did you all hear the thing about our one driver today? He couldn't pick his tarps up for,
Yeah,
know
you
who
told
I'm
me.
talking about, Ian.
No
So
names,
here's the
please.
deal. No names. Both of his tarps were rolled up together, and I said, so what's in? I said, no wonder you can't pick it up.
So here's the backstory, Christian. He got new tarps ordered, and Tom told him, look, you got a tarp at this time of year. You got a tarp, and so he got the tarps, and then
Or
he
go
said,
to van.
Then he said he couldn't lift them, and then Tom figured it out, and that's been a few weeks. He's had them, and he couldn't lift them. So what do you do? And we've been just trying to run him on strap and go, right, Tom? Until you figured out he had them bundled. They were wrapped together, so he had. Of course you can't lift. That's 200 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was a
do it.
one-piece 53-foot tarp. And I said, dude,
He's been doing it
don't
a
be
while.
laughing, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin won't tarp either, so.
Oh, Kevin.
Not allowed to
Oh,
talk
Kevin. Yeah, he doesn't like to.
You don't have any tarps.
All right.
You left them at home.
He does that, right, Kevin?
Kind of like my snow chains.
I think Kevin blames me for putting holes in his tarp because I made him take a steel load or something.
We'll see what the West Coast does here. I know
I'm curious.
Washington's taking off real strong.
Washington.
Real. Yeah.
I'm curious about Florida, though. I mentioned it last week, Tom. You touched on it briefly, but I'm hearing again that produce is kicking off.
it's
You know,
still
what are you seeing?
load rates are still crappy. I mean that there's the volume of loads is picked up, but the rates is still $2. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But it'll get better. Then we'll have a push next week because they're going to want to try to get gift fruit and everything out. But after that, then right after Christmas, it really starts picking up. A lot of that short stuff. I mean, I'm getting out of there right now. Just North Florida to run up to Atlanta. It's a grand. It's better than Deadhead, and it's easy, but
Yeah.
it gets you up to where you got to go. The East Coast out of there is paying like $260 a mile, but you know where it's going. It's all New York and Philly and stuff like that. But it's nothing to brag about yet, believe me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what the DAT guy said, too, this week, that reefer was a little bit stagnant as far as the volume of freight coming back after Thanksgiving.
So get it going in, boys. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
I'm seeing $6,000 out of Michigan going to Florida every day. So
Jim Mackey wanted me to mention that he got close to the rate per mile that you got out of SoCal on a customer load. He got $4.33 a mile going to Kentucky, which is a really nice load. But Tom still beat it at $4.58 going to Florida, a Popka.
I tried.
our company freight for dry vans today, I got called from Compton area to Nashville was 8,900. That ain't bad for a dry van to Nashville.
I got 9,100 from Los Angeles up to Kentucky, 27,000 pounds.
That's
I
good.
grabbed one of those loads too, Ian.
Yeah, that's company freight.
Yeah.
I got mine out of Ontario, so actually my rate per mile might be a little better.
A little better. You're
And Mike, you don't speak
east.
much, but when you do, it's factual and in your favor.
Sorry,
if any-
no, I'm
just
still
saying,
dealing
guys. Just saying.
Yeah, nah. I know I hate coming on and doing this when I'm still trying to deal with drivers and stuff while I'm on the show. So sorry if I seem checked out a little bit sometimes. But
I thought
Hey,
you were
Mike,
studying rates at the same time. I have no idea you were still working. I just thought you were grinding.
Hey, Mike,
What's up,
I'm going to
Tom?
have to get a hookup on some fishing rods.
I'll build you some, man. Just tell me the
builds them,
line
Tom.
weights, and I'll build you some custom
Really?
ones.
Last weekend, this striper I had hooked up, 80-pound test on there, and the line didn't bust, and the rod was only not even probably 6 months old. It busted the rod off right at the reel seat.
Oh wow.
I seen the fish. It was right next to the boat, and that had to have been a 70-pound striper. But he
I've seen
surfaced
some.
and made a U-turn.
I've seen some of those striper bass that Tom's caught. He sent me pictures. Man, they're huge. I didn't
Just
even
tell
know
me
they.
the length you want. If you're using 80-pound test, I can probably get like a 50 to 80-pound rod blank and then build it from there. Just tell me how
I
long you
just
want it.
use 6 foot or 6'6" regular stand-up rods. They just got to be
Gotcha.
beefy in the reel area with plenty of backbone and a real limber tip.
Gotcha.
From the videos Mike sent me, that's not a problem because he's got my son over here thinking he's getting custom fishing rods for Christmas. So. Yeah, that's not happening, by the way. He just got
What's his
back
name?
from spending that gift card. This isn't going to happen for a while. So.
He can't wait till next year's fishing contest, can he?
No, he didn't run out of money, but he's a really good saver, and so now he's got a job. So they hired him under the age just because it's down the street and he's a pretty responsible kid. So, yeah, I mean, when you can't buy fishing gear, you go out and get a job. He's not worried about a car because he can walk to the pond. It's kind of backwards.
That's funny. So
Priorities.
If anybody hasn't noticed, that's Ray. He's at home and Truck's in the shop. So his company driver, Michael, is running around Texas in Ray's truck while that one gets fixed. And Ray's barbecuing. Ray, can you show our viewers and the other drivers out there what you're cooking? Because it's pretty fascinating to us Yankees up here. So Ray's got some Yeah, go over it with us.
All right, so what we got here, my old smoker. So I just got sausage over here. Got some drumsticks here, 2 jalapenos. And does anybody know what that is? That's
Peyote
cactus or
bud.
cacti.
Peyote.
Peyote,
So
but
that,
you got some
That's what
cactus
we
on
got.
the grill.
yeah, got some cactus. My wife loves cactus. I mean,
I've never had
any
it.
chance we get.
I didn't even know you could eat it, but I'm pretty adventurous. So what does it taste like, Ray? Is it like a radish or something like that, or more like a pepper?
It's kind of like green beans almost, you know. It's
Really?
almost like green beans. Maybe just not the crispness to it, but yeah. I mean, you cook it up and let it dry out a little bit. You don't want to eat it while it's real wet. You want to kind of dry it out a little bit. And
so you just put a little hot sauce, some chile on it.
yeah,
Ray?
yeah. You know what we do a lot here in Texas is Nopales, which is cactus, with
Yeah.
eggs for breakfast.
Oh wow.
What in the world?
Yeah, that's usually what we do. And I smoke everything right around.
Can you dice it up and put it on like? Can you dice it up and put it like on an omelet?
Yeah, you can.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean, I try to smoke it right around 250, 225, 250, and just let it sit there.
For how long?
It'd take about 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, bring me some cactus up here. I want to try that when you get back out on the road. How long will it last? Will a couple days? Or you
Oh,
can-
I got a freezer.
Oh, yeah.
It shouldn't be hard at all.
Well, bring me some.
All I gotta do
I'm
is go
really
get you some.
curious.
Yeah.
Even
I'll
I
definitely do
think
that.
Christian's really curious. If you're coming through
I'm-
Roanoke, stop.
I might just come into Ohio and just
Drop it off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way better than it actually sounds. I think I had like fried. It was like in some kind of like breading too,
Yeah.
and it just had, I forget what dipping sauce it was, but it was super good.
I bet you if you get some
Yeah.
of the onion sauce from Outback, that would taste pretty good with that fried up.
With the bloomin' onion sauce.
I
That
think
stuff is
I think
good.
it was something like that, honestly.
Yeah, if you saute it with onions, stick it in. You can do it in a frying pan, and put some butter in the pan, and then saute it with some onions, and it's great, man.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then just break some eggs in there and you can either make a scrambled eggs or you can just make sunny side up and have that as a side.
Hey, Kevin, Nate, you guys there?
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys were down at Ray's and in the pool in the floaty last year, did you guys try the cactus?
Well, that wasn't me. That was Kevin.
Oh, that was AJ and Kevin. Yeah. Okay, we have
yeah,
pictures.
AJ. Yeah, AJ passed out in the chair. I seen that picture.
Yeah. That's funny. So that's
Yeah.
cool, Ray. Yeah, bring some up. I want to try that.
All right, man. Is Kevin on? Is Kevin on?
Yeah, Kevin's on, aren't you, Kev?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Have you ever?
he got to eat the steaks. So we actually cooked the T-bone steaks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
Ray-
we had him some steaks too.
I've been to Ray's house, and I've been to many barbecues that Ray is in charge of the barbecuing. And it's like, he's got PPE gear, everything. I mean, he's in front of that grill usually from morning till late at night and when he's cooking. And it's pretty impressive. Everything comes off there tastes great. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's an experience, yeah. So, Kumar,
Yes.
are you ready?
Trucking questions?
Trucking questions with Kumar. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Come on, man. Let's do it.
So before we do that, get ready.
I'm gonna do my best Joel impression.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Joel, all right, Kumar. Do a little call here
Yeah.
and
Is
see
he
if
gonna
we can
cough?
check.
I hope he coughs.
We're gonna check on Joel since
Do the
he's not
cough.
here to read the questions. He's drinking his Go Lightly at home. Joel,
What's up, buddy?
can you? How's it going? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay right now. Besides starving, I'm ready to go check my squirrel trap.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear about the golfer who started a colonoscopy clinic?
No.
He does 18 holes a day. Hey, so I'm getting ready to make this stuff right now, and let me tell you, I am ready to go check my squirrel trap. But I was speaking to the consultant of this prep drink.
Yeah.
I think he was wrong when he said bottoms up.
Well, it says the active ingredient, Joel, is PEG 3350, which we thought was kind of funny. And
ironic,
considering what you're going to go through tomorrow. And but
Tonight.
that is.
I'm really glad you called me while I was standing in my kitchen and not somewhere else.
Yeah.
Pretty good time here.
So, are you kind of clenched up and running towards the bathroom every few minutes, or what's going on?
Well, I will be, but I gotta say, my last colonoscopy, it was the worst dentist appointment ever. This stuff, I don't know. Are we on the air?
Yeah, we are, Joel. Welcome.
A little
Welcome
late,
to
Joel.
Talkin'
A
Truckin'.
little late.
I know this. If I forget to pay my bill tomorrow,
Yeah.
you think I'll be in arrears?
Wow.
Well, hey, speaking of which, Russ, this stuff don't play around. I'm kind of to and fro, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joel. It's important. This saves lives.
All right. Well, hello, guys. Have you done the sports yet?
No, but I'm getting ready. But I told you earlier, some of your stuff was wrong. I had to correct it.
Yeah.
Maybe because you were looking ahead.
Well, I did pick Georgia last week, and apparently that was wrong too.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you can flush them, Joel.
Speaking of which,
Royal Flush.
So, Joel,
all right, very good.
We're going to miss you this week on the show. We're getting ready to do trucking questions with Kumar. And so good luck tomorrow. And we'll keep the awareness out there that colonoscopies are not something to be ashamed of. Joel's proud of it. And it can save lives. And I'm getting mine after April, Joel. You know that. I'm with you, buddy.
And you're quitting smoking.
We are gonna live stream Russ's colonoscopy.
All right, Joel.
Please join in that day.
Thanks for joining us, buddy. Thanks.
Remember to bite your lip.
All right, thanks for checking in.
And Christian said, bite your lip, not your tongue.
I think they put a tennis ball in my mouth. I'm not sure.
All right, Joel. We'll talk to you later, buddy. Good luck. Bye.
Yeah, we are going to live stream Russ's colonoscopy. We will be there through every twist and turn. So please stick around.
Man, that was a good tight 5 minutes by Joel. He should definitely.
He was rolling him. I didn't know where that. He knew I was going to call and check on him, so he was prepared.
I thought we were talking to Rodney Dangerfield.
I know, right?
Joel's going to be at the Laugh Factory tonight.
Respect.
So a colonoscopy is the examination of a large bowel and distal part of the small bowel. Colonoscopy, the endoscopic.
Are these questions with Kumar?
No, endoscopic exam used on a end of a camera tube. And Joel and I talked about this yesterday. He had one a couple years ago because he's a couple years older than me. And they said we want to do one more in a few years. So he's fine, but he follows his doctor's, whatever his doctor asks him to do. And I really didn't give it much thought until Joel told me he was, doctor said, let's just do another one in a few years. And because they said that, and I talked to my doctor about it, and she suggests I do it after April. So guys, listen, if they find a polyp or something, they can get rid of that because those things can cause cancer 10 to 15 years down the road. And that's why I was asking if you guys have ever had one who are over 50, because it is important. If it's a cancer that can be cured, or gotten rid of long before it turns into it by doing a couple of tests like that. So it is important for men's health. So that's why Joel didn't mind coming on and talking about it. All right, let's go, Zach.
Wait, do you want to do the colonoscopy question at
Colonoscopy
the end,
question.
or
all right, Kumar.
We can do it when you do your news.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which of the following is not a model of a Peterbilt? A, 379. 2, 378. 2? Yeah, that's what Joel does. Shout out, Joel. C, 387, or D, 319.
So wait, drivers, are you with us?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Kevin, Nate, Ray,
Yep.
Jim.
Yeah.
So I have Kumar with Berkey this week, so Christian has the drivers.
Also known as the winners.
Whatever.
So Kumar, is it A, 379, or which of the following is not a model of a Peterbilt? 379, 378, 387, or 319? Not a model.
378.
Jim Mackey, Ray. 379, 378, 387, or 319?
319.
Ray says 319.
319.
The week I don't have the
you're
drivers.
actually all wrong.
No, you're right. They know they're right. And their week I don't have the drivers. They come strong on the first question. He gets it wrong.
Thank you, Ray. Good start.
Drivers won.
For those of you keeping track at home, that's 0 for Kumar and 1 for the winner circle.
I got it here, Christian wrote down.
Just checking.
All right.
Kumar, it is believed that the idea for an engine retarder first originated in 1934. Who is believed to be the creator?
It's a good question.
A. Rudolf Diesel. B. Stefeev Jacobs. C. Clessy Cummins. Or D. Albert Einstein.
I know this one.
B. Stefeev Jacobs.
Stefeev Jacobs.
Stefeev.
Are you sure about that, Kumar?
Think about that one.
Just say the letter.
So is that B?
That was B.
Drivers, it is believed the idea for an engine retarder was first originated in 1934 by who? Rudolf Diesel, Stefeev Jacobs, as Kumar claims, Clessy Cummins, or Albert Einstein?
Oh, you know what? All right.
What do you guys say?
I'm going to have to agree with Kumar.
He goes with Kumar.
Yeah.
What do you say, Ray?
Yeah, I am too.
Really? Okay. Nate?
Cummins.
He says Clessy Cummins. Kevin?
I think I'm gonna go with Ray and all of them on that one.
So I got a question on the rules here. So if
All they got to do is get one of them's got to get it right, Christian. So you're in. You got this one.
Just
Nate
checking.
got it. It was Clessy
Yeah.
Cummins.
Yeah.
Rudolph Diesel's the one, if I'm not mistaken, who invented the diesel, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
I knew that one.
Yes.
He's
The
the guy
combustion
that
engine.
fell off the ship and nobody ever found him again.
Yes.
Or they found
yes.
him, but then they took his wall and somebody else found him. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, he was murdered.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
I
drivers
knew I
on the
should've
multiple
picked
choice
Cummins.
questions, if y'all just pick something different, you're good to go.
Right. No.
That's what I was trying to say. Hey, man,
Kumar's-
go get an idea of the rules.
Kumar's been on a roll these last month or so. He's been doing really well. So it's
Redemption tour.
Right. What Mike is trying to say is if they choose the one he doesn't choose, there's a 100% chance that if he's wrong, we're right. That's what he's trying to
that's right.
Well, not only that,
That makes sense.
if only one of the drivers have to be right,
We get it right 3/4 of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
If the drivers were
listen,
smart, they
we
would
s-
each pick a different answer.
I think that's what they're getting at here, Ian.
We set it up that way.
Is there an echo in my mic? Is there an echo in here?
We set it up that way because I always had the drivers. So now that I don't, you guys are trying to play it against me.
So far, it's we're killing you 2-0. If those of you keeping track at home.
All right. Number
So
3.
this game means nothing now.
Yeah.
If your oil pressure gauge begins to...
there's 5 questions. There's 2-0.
No.
I'm reading the third one.
And there's a bonus
Begins to
question.
drop and your coolant temperature begins to rise. What could be the trouble? A. Broken oil line, gasket, or lost drain plug. B. Your coolant level is too low. C. The thermostat is stuck. Or D. None of the above.
So this is going to take a little thought there, drivers and Kumar.
Can you repeat it again for
If you're-
Kumar?
If your oil pressure gauge begins to drop and your coolant temperature begins to rise, what could be the trouble? Ray's got steam coming out of his cactuses over there.
What was C again? Was that the one coolant?
That is the thermostat is stuck.
Okay.
Jim, are you hanging out with Darth Vader? Because I hear some deep breathing.
I don't know where
Yeah.
that's coming from.
Yeah, I think it might be Jim. Yeah. It is.
Yep, it's Jim.
Oh yeah,
He's
somebody's
got his
passing.
window down. Yeah.
B. Coolant is low.
Kumar says coolant is low. So Ray, give it some thought. Ray, Jim, Kevin, Nate, you're all 4 of you are good mechanics.
All right, who's
What
one
was
more?
What was the answers again?
If your oil pressure gauge begins to drop and your coolant temperature begins to rise, broken oil line, gasket, or lost drain plug, your coolant level is too low, the thermostat is stuck, or none of the above.
I'm gonna go with the first one, the broken oil line, gasket, or drain
Lost
plug.
drain plug. What do you say,
Yeah.
Jim?
I'm gonna say your coolant level is low.
Okay. Nate?
I like it.
Well, you shouldn't.
I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know,
Broken
I'll go
oil
with drain
line,
plug.
coolant level's
Broken-
low,
yeah.
thermostat is stuck. Which one?
I think I'll go with the broken oil line.
Broken oil line. And Kevin?
You know what? I'm just gonna go off on a whim, and I'm gonna say your thermostat stuck.
Oh, I see.
Leaky spark tube.
Well, they needed one right, and
I have a theory behind that. By why.
well, I want to hear it because Jim also threw me off a little. I thought Jim would get this. So it is broken oil line gasket or a broken oil line gasket or lost drain plug that will cause that. Ray, you were right. Someone else agreed with you. I think it was Nate. What's your theory with that, Kevin?
Well, I mean, my whole theory on it is if your thermostats don't open up, your water levels, your water's not circulating. If your water temp goes up, it causes your oil pressure to drop. I mean, we see it all the time when you're out here. If your truck's running 205 degrees, my oil pressure is lower.
If your thermostat didn't open, would that make your pressure higher?
Well,
I'm not sure. I don't think it would.
Somebody called Troy.
Yeah. Get Troy on the phone.
I don't understand that because first off, if you lost your oil line or your oil plug or whatever, your motor's going to run out of oil before it gets hot.
But if your oil pressure gauge dropped and your coolant rises,
you're not going to have enough time for the oil to be gone before the water runs up. It goes hot.
Right. Well, that temperature is going to go pretty quick.
That's what I think.
But it depends on the. If you're running full synthetic oil, it'll run a good while without any oil pressure, and it'll raise your coolant temperature because it's trying to compensate for the heating of the engine that the oil is not cooling down.
I agree.
How far do you think you'd have to run before you start throwing rods and stuff through the side of the block with no oil in it, though?
All the way to the side of the breakdown.
I think long enough.
It's really unknown because if you're pulling a mountain, I mean, you ain't gonna run far. But if you're on flat ground,
you're gonna make it to the site of the breakdown.
Yeah, the conditions for whatever the truck is gonna do are gonna vary from every situation that it encounters, I guess.
You got a good point, Jim, but I definitely agree with Ray. And Rudolph Diesel wrote the question, man, so I'm not going against him.
The only reason I said what I said is because the newer trucks now, if your truck started running out of oil, it's going to automatically shut off.
Yeah.
It'll shut off way before it ever starts causing anything else, your temperature to rise on your
it'll
water
derate.
level.
I do agree with Kevin though on one thing though,
A.
because if you turn on your truck from a cold start, my truck will shoot up to about maybe 80 pounds of oil pressure, and as the engine warms up and the coolant and the oil does, the oil pressure drops down to about maybe 25-30 at idle.
Yeah, mine was the exact same, right? Mine was high.
So I understand where he's saying what he's getting at, but I wasn't assuming that was going to be the circumstance that we're looking at.
Same motor too, Mike. You're talking about your first truck, the Cummins. Isn't that a Cummins?
No, it was a pack car, same as Ray's.
Oh, it was a pack car. It's same as Ray's.
Yeah, it
same as
about 80 psi when you start it. 80 psi when you start it up. And, when it's cold, and then it gradually goes down to about, I think mine ran about 30 psi at idle, or 28, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had a lot of water issues with mine lately, and my oil pressure has not dropped because I've been low on coolant. So.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you, Kevin, they're the same exact truck, and I had to put a new motor in mine, so yours is lasting.
Man,
lasting a lot longer.
Don't
than
even
mine.
jinx me like
It would be like la.
Right. I know, right?
Yeah,
Sorry about
there
that.
you go,
Rule
right.
number one to Freight Club
I
is you
didn't hear
don't
that
talk
la
about
la la.
Yeah, right.
Because I got one
Sorry
too.
about that, Kevin.
I got the same truck too, so
Yeah,
I'm like la la la.
When Ray's got a million
my
miles
truck may
on the
not
one.
be my truck may not be the same color as y'all's, but I still have a T680 with a PACCAR motor. So
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray, how many miles are on your first truck now?
Oh, I just
Over a
did an
million.
oil sample. Yeah, I just did an oil sample. I sent it to your email too.
I saw it. I read it. I was talking to Ian about it.
Yeah, it's 1,050,000, I believe, is what we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burning clean too.
Yeah, and my truck's got 788,000 on it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that oil sample is clean, right? You saw it.
I did. Yeah. I mean, Ian and I were talking about. I was reading some of the stuff that they send back to you on that sample.
Yeah.
I just got the short end of the stick. Everyone that runs PACCARs seem to like them. I mean, besides the little, electrical issues in some, and obviously, DEF problems. But that's
coolant leaks, major problem on PACCAR.
That's with any, and I think their electrical has issues too. But
everybody their electrical issues are Kenworth. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I can turn my headlights on and turn my truck off, and it'll just continuously run.
That's your trailer. That's your pigtail on your trailer.
And I can turn my headlights off and the truck will die.
Yeah, unplug the pigtail and it probably turn off the engine.
No, I don't think you heard him right. I think he said when his lights will make his truck turn off. Right? Isn't that what you said, Kevin?
Well, no, it makes it run. Well, no, when you cut my truck off, if my headlights and all are on, I can cut the truck off, take the key out the ignition, and
it's still running.
Cut off. It'll just sit there and run.
You know what? There's also Ray. I think you remember this when I originally bought your truck before you started buying it from me. I was picking it up in Texas and I parked after I didn't even have a trailer yet, and I parked at a truck stop and I was idling. I was just checking everything out, and all the dash lights went out. Remember, Ray? It was several years ago, but I called you about it. All the dash lights went out. The truck's still idling. I had no interior lights. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And I was starting to check fuses, and I called Ray, and he said, turn your key, restart the thing. So turn it off.
Recycle your key.
Recycle your key 6 times in 5 seconds. And don't turn the truck on. Just turn it on to the accessory or whatever. And I did that, and all the lights, all the interior lights, the dash lights, everything came back. Has that ever happened with you in that truck, Nate?
It has happened once, but it was actually here recently, and it wasn't all the lights. It was just everything on the dashboard just went dark.
Yeah, that was it wasn't the exterior lights. It was the interior and the dash lights,
Yeah, and I did that. I cycled the key, and
and then it worked.
Was thinking, well, maybe it didn't.
Oh.
And I cycled it 2 or 3 times, trying to get it to work, and it didn't. And I just said, well, we'll figure this out. And I just shut the truck off and left it there long enough for me to. I was thinking I was going to get something to eat, and I came back and started the truck back up, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to reset it.
It could have just been from being off for a while that it reset it, but yeah, that worked when I did it.
Because a lot of the newer trucks, all the lights, they're not run through your circuit board. They're actually all running to your ECM. So when you reset your ECM, it's like powering down your phone and powering it back up whenever it's just doing crazy stuff,
like a restart.
Yeah,
because when I called you, you told me what to do, Ray. It worked, and the lights came back on. Yeah.
How long has that been happening to your truck, Kevin? Has it just recently?
It just started the other day.
Just started? Oh, okay. Just for just for the sake of experimenting, pull that pigtail out of there and see with your key off, turn in the off position, pull the pigtail out the back of your trailer and see if it shuts off. Because it could be something in there. That happened to me one time. Yeah.
Question 4.
Let's do it.
When booking a load with a
That
broker,
was good though.
Let's go Cleveland. Let's go.
with a broker, and they ask for a copy of your COI, what are they asking for? A, certificate of inventory. B, certified official inspection. C, certificate of insurance. Or D, carrier on-site inspector. Can we do drivers first on that?
Drivers, did you hear this?
Yeah, COI, right?
Yeah, so when booking a load with a broker and they ask for a copy of your COI, what are they asking you for? Certificate of inventory, certificate or certified official inspection, certificate of insurance, or carrier on-site inspector. So, Kumar?
I'll go with B.
Certified official inspection?
Yep.
Drivers.
What would they be inspecting, Kum? Let's break this
When
down.
booking a load with a broker, they ask for a copy of your COI. Is it
certificate of insurance?
It's insurance.
Wow.
Man, they're smoking him this week.
Yep.
The week that Christian wins the football pick'em, and then he gets my drivers for a week.
We can call them our drivers, Russ. Right now, I mean, it's 4-0. If you want to throw in the towel early, Kumar, that's fine. But
I think we know that Berkey and I are both paying $20.
I want to hear Kevin sing.
But
So,
there
take it
is
away,
a great
Kevin.
song, and
yeah.
so Kevin's prepared a song for us for the final question for Trucking Questions with Kumar. Kevin, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. His phone's dragging a
Yeah,
little.
this is going to be great.
All right. Make sure you sing aloud.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I'm trying to get better signal, but
You got Boost Mobile or something?
So, Kumar, in the Alabama song, Roll On.
no, it's
And here's how it sounds.
We have T-Pain here with us today.
I mean, and the toilet flushing every 5
Yeah. It's been a crazy day. In the
that-
Alabama
Yeah,
song, Kumar, the Alabama song, Roll On. On Monday morning, go ahead. Sing the first verse, Kevin. Oh, we lost conveniently. Wait, we couldn't hear you, Kevin.
Convenient.
roll on, crew.
Wait,
Roll on, mama. Did
you got to
hear me
start
now?
over.
Yeah, we didn't hear the first.
We didn't hear most of
Yeah,
it.
couple
you-
lines.
We need some more twang in your
Okay.
voice, too.
More twang and let's
Doesn't
go.
sound like you're from Alabama
Or
at all, buddy.
twang.
All right, ready? Go.
No, I'm not from Alabama. Roll
Start
on,
over.
Highway. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll on, highway. Roll on along. Roll on, daddy, till you get back home. Roll on, family. Roll on, crew. Roll on, mama, like I asked you to do. Roll on, 18-wheeler. Roll on.
Roll on. How about you, Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
That was beautiful.
You sound like Jason Aldean when you talk, but nothing like it when you sing.
It's okay. We all know.
He's in a
He just fell in a black hole.
He's in a holler.
I'm in a holler.
He's in a holler. Yeah.
Holler, y'all.
So on Monday morning in this song, Kumar, when he was kissing Mama goodbye, where was his run going? Southern California, B, Southeast run, C, Midwest run, or D, Northeast run?
Man.
You know that classic Alabama track.
Get out the broom.
I mean, it has played in the office several times.
Get out the broom. Gonna be a sweep.
Start the buses.
Midwest run.
Midwest run, Kumar says. Ray, you have any idea?
That's
What?
exactly what I was gonna say. Was Midwest run.
You say Midwest run.
Redemption tour.
Jim Mackey, you know that song?
I've heard it. I'm gonna guess Midwest.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we all be picking different ones?
Kevin can't answer because he knows, and Nate, I know he knows it.
Midwest. Yep.
Yeah.
Midwest.
Yeah. So you didn't sweep us because if Kumar gets it right, we get the point.
And we win the whole game.
4-1. We win the whole game.
Yeah.
So,
You know, we'll give that to you as a daily double. It's still 2-4.
there we go. All right. It's cool. That was fun. Thanks, Kevin, for filling in for Joel and his.
Let me get a cough in.
I think they should have picked a different question out of that song.
What do you think it should have been?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So it's
I'm
safe to
just
say
saying.
he's keeping his trucking job, right?
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, Midwest, and y'all are in Ohio. I mean, it's kind of a dick giveaway.
Yeah, it is a Midwest run. We're in the Midwest, but so Christian, you got some stuff to go over with us?
Pull it up here since I was watching the Midwest Run stuff.
While you're pulling it up, and you just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Kumar came up with something that was pretty interesting this week. Kumar, and we can get back to this after. Once you're ready, Christian, you let us know.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever. No big deal.
Most famous truck drivers.
Yes.
Kumar.
So some of the most famous truck drivers include James Cameron, director of Terminator 2, Aliens, Titanic, and Avatar. He drove a lorry, which is a British truck.
No, they call him a lorry is a British truck driver.
No, lorries are the trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, they are the trucks?
Lorry,
I thought it was.
lorry is a truck.
Okay, I'm wrong.
A lorry driver is a truck driver.
They have a bit of an accent.
Okay,
when
that's
you
what
start
lorry.
up the truck, it has a different accent.
From.
It's a Peterbilt.
They're really short and they're really short and the grill's messed up.
Can you do that again?
No.
So, okay, we got the lorry thing right. Then who was next?
Sean Connery,
Yeah.
Scottish actor, first James Bond. I don't
Was
really.
he the first James Bond?
Yes, he was.
Oh, I thought he was the second.
That was his first big.
He's the second one.
Is he?
hit.
Yeah, he's not the first.
Well, that website lied to me because they said he was the first. He was the best, one of the best.
He was the best. Yeah, you're right.
He died last year, I think.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did, sadly. Chevy Chase, he is a comedic actor.
Can you imagine running into Chevy Chase at a truck stop before he was an actor? That'd
Yes.
be funny.
Chevy Chase drives for us now. It's Dave.
Yeah. And the next guy.
And he drove a Chevy. I'm just kidding. So then we got Richard Pryor, famous comedian. He hauled truckloads across the U.S.
He's a long haul truck driver.
Yeah, and
I didn't know
Europe.
that till
So
today.
that was well before Clearinghouse.
Yeah. Before CDLs, I think.
That's right. And drug screens.
Drugs were mandatory back then.
Right, a little yellow jacket.
I remember those days.
Jesus, is that you?
It's Moses.
All right, so next guy we got on the list is Liam Neeson. He is an actor famous for Taken, played in Star Wars as Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn, one of my favorites. And he also drove a lorry and a forklift for Guinness, the beer.
Beer hauler.
Yep. Yep.
Funny thing about Liam Neeson is he just did a movie on Netflix about ice road trucking.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was
Really?
fixing to say that.
What's it called? Do you know?
I think it's called the Ice Road.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's what it's called.
Okay. I think I did see
That
that.
was that
Nice.
movie was a big PACCAR.
Does he pee his pants in that movie?
It was funded by PACCAR, I believe. Everything in that movie was about
I'm gonna
PACCAR.
have to
Yeah,
check it
all-
out.
all
I
three of
did
the trucks,
see
all
something.
three of the
about it.
trucks
Jamie, can you
were
look it up?
were newer model.
Yeah.
They were all the 990.
Did he also have a particular set of skills in that movie? Got a particular set of
but
skills.
you gotta. I'm not gonna give it
He
away. You
floats
gotta see
gears
it.
all day
Yeah.
long.
I will,
So
I
that's
will
a
find
yes.
you and I will deliver
We'll
this
laugh about it
load.
later.
No address necessary.
All right, next up we got Elvis Presley. Who?
Elvis.
He said,
He was a singer, if anybody didn't know that.
Oh, the king.
Drove for
Yeah.
Crown Electric.
Yep. He drove a Crown Electric work truck, and it was said that when they would unload his truck, he would often say, "Thank you very much."
I got a question.
Hit up every karaoke bar along the country.
Is that where his name, the King, came from? Because he worked for Crown?
Oh,
I don't know,
Maybe
but-
he was their best driver.
The rumor has it he developed his iconic hairstyle. I looked this up today after I got this list. He developed his iconic hairstyle from fellow drivers that he worked with at Crown.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And also, I saw that he said that somebody told him he should stick to trucking and not
Yes,
singing.
I read that too today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He went to.
They were right.
He went to
So
try and
Devin's
get
going to be the next king.
He tried to get a lead singer job for some band, Eddie Band or something, I read. And the guy turned him down and said, you should stick to truck driving. And he did for a while, but then you know the rest of the story.
That guy was wrong.
He was obscene, shaking his hips. Oh, my God.
Eddie and the Cruisers, maybe.
Yeah.
Great movie.
There's a couple more. Who are they?
We got Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, a serial
infamous.
killer.
Maybe not famous, but infamous.
Yes, infamous. He had a job as an HGV, heavy goods vehicle driver, for T&WH Clark Holdings on Canal Road Industrial Estate in Bradford.
And he was a serial killer that killed 15 people or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 13.
Yeah.
Confirmed. I think they were prostitutes.
The Yorkshire Ripper.
There's a
Let
crazy
that be a warning.
documentary about
Let that
it.
be a warning to all you 4-wheelers cutting 18-wheelers off. They're a bunch of
Yeah,
serial
you drive a
killers.
reefer to hide the bodies?
Yeah, he had a reefer.
Okay, so next up on the list we got Robert Duvall. He was an actor famous for To Kill a Mockingbird, Apocalypse Now, and The Godfather. Next
Open
up,
Spaces.
what was that?
It's isn't it open sky, something like that. He did a lot of westerns, right?
Oh yeah, he did, I believe.
He's been in a ton of movies.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall, yeah.
We have Jason Aldean, country singer. He drove for Pepsi in Georgia, so he drove around Georgia.
He also wrote a song called Asphalt Cowboy, and I wonder if that was directly related to his days of driving.
Yeah, didn't Joel sing that or something one
I
time?
think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
One of the shows.
So then we got Sylvester Stallone. He obviously an actor from Rocky.
Over the top.
Couldn't find what he drove or what he did, but
Can you imagine trying to understand Sylvester Stallone over the CB?
You
wouldn't be able to
switch.
Yo, wait for it. I wonder what his handle was.
Well, in the movie it was
Judge
Eagle, wasn't
Dredd.
it?
What's that, Christian?
And over the top it was Eagle, right? It was
Yeah, I believe so.
Bull versus Eagle.
Oh,
he had
okay.
he had the weights on the right side.
Yeah, in their cab.
Only the
yeah.
right arm
And then
was.
Only the right arm, and then he just it's all positioning of the hand when you come against
Yeah.
the bull. Yeah, it was great. Still got that on VHS. If anyone
I
wants to
remember
borrow
that movie.
it. Yeah.
and last but not least, we have Kurt Russell.
I was gonna say there's no mention of Kurt Russell on here.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a driver. And what?
He escaped from New York, right?
He did.
Yeah.
And there was also a big trouble in Little China.
So drivers, when you're out there at the truck stops, keep your eye out for the next big star.
Or maybe you are the next.
Or
big
maybe
star.
you are.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, I thought about breaking into the movies, but I ain't got to it yet.
You've got a face for radio, Jim.
Yeah. James Cameron, he would actually pull over every time he got an idea for a script or something. So I'm sure he was late to every load that he had to drop.
Speaking of being late, so I did when Kumar brought this up. I did look too at famous people. I found one that it wasn't on your list. It was the NBA Hall of Famer Karl Malone. Played played basketball for the Jazz. Malone's he wasn't a driver. He owned a trucking company. He started his own trucking company called Malone Enterprises Trucking. And I'm reading what I wrote down exactly what I read from this article. The NBA star was nicknamed the Mailman because of his trucking company. However, after 18 months, he couldn't deliver and the company went out of business. So that was Karl Malone trying his hand at trucking.
That's not the only thing Karl Malone tried his hand at. He also had a monster truck for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it
He also
was
tried to beat
called
the
the
Bulls.
Mailman.
He called it the Mailman? That's
Yeah.
funny because that's the nickname he got from starting a trucking company while he was in the NBA. That's pretty funny.
Speaking of truck drivers, I meant to say this a while back.
Yeah.
You ever go to apply for something or fill out a credit app or something, and they ask for your occupation, and you look on there, and truck driver is never listed?
No, transportation is like the closest you can get to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but a lot of times even transportation specialist or whatever isn't even on there. It's like there's nothing. I've seen taxi driver. I've seen Uber driver on some, like
tattoo artist,
lorry driver,
no
truck driver on there. I just thought that was
these
weird.
aren't real jobs.
You should have looked under lorry.
Hairdresser,
right? I just thought that was weird. Never once have I ever seen truck driver on a credit app or any type of application.
Now that you say that, I don't think I have either. Ian, can you say the British version of Peterbilt again?
Blimey, they've taken my
me Peterbilt. That was more Irish.
What accent was that?
That was Irish Jamaican man.
Peterbilt.
My biggest thing is that after you've applied for the job, and then you get past everything, you go in for the interview, and the first thing they say is, "You've drove a truck for how many years? Now, what makes you think you can do this job?"
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because on Wednesday morning, when your hours expire for 40-hour week, we still have 3 other days to run.
Yeah. And you got to be a jack of all trades, man. My dad was a carpenter, and I mean, I'm telling you, when I was driving truck, I had every kind of tool you could think of, from carpentry tools to you name it. You just got to be a jack of all trades on the road. And I'm glad I grew up that way. You know, you learn to fix things on the fly. Really helped me become a better mechanic and truck driver.
You don't need to be a mechanic being a truck driver. You just need to have duct tape and a paper clip. And you're
well,
good
that's
to
what I mean.
Maybe a sawzall.
International. If you got an international, you need baling wire.
Oh well, that's it.
Yeah.
Or you could just work or run with a backwoods mechanic like Kevin over there.
Yeah, Kevin is a good backwoods mechanic, and he uses a lot of duct tape.
More paper clips than duct tape.
Or Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
So, all right, Christian, what do you got?
Let me know when you can see what I see.
Do you see what I see? Since we're in the holiday mode.
You can see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So using an airplane analogy, it says which wing is more important, right? Revenue or relationships? The reason I'm bringing this up is it is the end of year, and I'm not sure if it's the guys watching this or guys just here to take in consideration moving into next year. It's a really good time for goal setting. But there's also a lot of end of year movement, and it's typically the new year is you want to start something new. You want to get either your health back on track or your professional life back on track. So a lot of guys leave jobs between now and April. Some guys do it because they are able to buy their own truck and take the depreciation schedule towards the end of the year with a good deal. Not a whole lot of good deals going on with the trucks right now with the equipment market, or the facts that they have tax money coming in, and that's money that they normally don't plan to have. So this way they can put money in for a down payment. So the question is, what's more important? Is it revenue or is it relationships? So, and this goes both for office personnel as well as drivers. So we're going to cover both, but they're really 2 keys to retention, right? And that's what these are. And there's always an alarm that goes off. And so you don't want to, it's like a tilt alarm, right? A couple things when you're flying a plane is you have to trust your gauges. You
want to make sounds coming from that plane?
They are not. It's coming from Jim's truck.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, is that the plane?
Yeah.
Jim, is your window down?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, roll it up.
I love it because I'll just click it. And
I thought it was cool. I'm like, man, he's got sound effects with this plane that he's got on the screen.
And the words even wiggled a little bit, too.
I know, right?
Yeah. Jim and Christian are on sync on that one.
Yeah, that's it. Well, wait till it comes again and click the button again.
I put my window up. You won't hear the truck's driving.
You just ruined my presentation, Jim. Thanks a lot. Anyway, so there's a life is about balance, and I think all of us have worked for a really good company and been paid really crappy money, and a lot of us have been paid really well and been treated like crap. So it is about finding the happy medium, making sure that you know what your worth is, and part of that is making sure that there are we can call it your gut, you can call it your intuition. There are things that say, hey, this is just not a good situation to be in, and even getting out of a truck. This is the truck seems to be having, problem after problem after problem, and it's going to drain you to death. Well, you want to make sure you have a relationship with who you're working with, that they're going to see you through that. They're going to make sure that they know your value. And then the other side of that is to make sure that you get paid it. So you want to look at the horizon. This is a really good time of year to start doing your planning for next year. So if you don't have someone in the office that you've asked to help. I know all the offices and everybody on this call are not just about looking at just your weekly revenue, but what are our goals? You know, of the next 12 months, what do you want to achieve in the truck? And so, you know, it doesn't mean that it's all going to happen. You know, we went into COVID, we had certain expectations. For 30 days, we had a drop, and then it's really been, you know, our place the name rate since then. So the flight plans can change, you know, the flight itinerary can change. So we have had revenue and relationships, and they're both very important. I think the last week, Russ, I believe it was Russ, you mentioned that someone had mentioned why is it I'm not being pre-planned like I used to, right? You're loading them up day of. That's just a really one good example of a number of examples that say, hey, they have to trust that you're doing what's best for them when it's best for them. And also you're trusting them out on the road to make those best decisions. You know, it is a group effort. But in doing that, you know, you're looking after their money, and money is a motivator, but a monetary motivation generally loses power over time. It's not as important, and it's not long-term. And we talk about the Rockefeller theory is how much money is enough, just a little bit more. This is it. It's because it's not always going to sustain that growth. You need to be profitable. You need to make sure who it is that you're working for and working with want to make more money every year as you go along, and that they want to push every day. But at the end of the day, it's temporary compliance. It's not full-time satisfaction. But what is something called an intrinsic motivation, right? That's a long-term motivator because it's two individuals working together and achieving more. And it's not perfect every time, but there's a stronger connection because it's internal, it's personal. You know, when you have issues, you can rely on somebody. And that's the reason it can be drawn over a period of time, because it's not always something that's objective. You know, we talk about occupancy reports, we talk about revenue. You know, intrinsic motivation is subjective. You know, it's about cultivating a relationship that you can trust. You know, you all were talking about somebody last week that had a large expense, and I forgot who it was. I believe it was a female, $5,000 expense, whatever it was. It was
Joanna had it. No, it was way more than that. But
okay, well,
yeah,
we'll say way more than that.
Yeah, it was, and that's the one that took that big load out of California that Tom put on her. And I did back her on that repair. I know she's good for it. But yeah, it happens in trucking.
But just to show the balance there, right? So it is monetary. She had this kick butt load, and she's going to recapture that and place some of that back towards it. But it's also intrinsic. She knows that there's a relationship and that there's a trust there that you say, hey, look, you know, we're going to make sure that we extend this because we know you are hardworking. And in every business, at some point, I don't care who you are, you're going to reach out to somebody. And having that is also long-term. It's not just a motivator, but it's a success factor. Because if you don't have both of these elements, you won't succeed. You can make all the money in the world, and you may not budget it right, or something happens to your truck time and time again. You don't exit it in time, and you have a $50,000 motor spend, and then you have a $20,000 motor spend, and you can't throw enough money at the problem. Well, guess what? You're going to need to rely on somebody else. And if you don't cultivate and manage both of these for long-term satisfaction.
Such a powerful statement. It's so important. One of the things, and Mike, we've mentioned this, Christian, on the show before.
Yeah.
You know, I remember walking out a few years ago outside, and Mike was still a driver with us and thinking about leaving. And, you know, I don't remember exactly the whole conversation, but the one thing I know he hasn't forgotten, and I haven't forgotten, is that I said to him, and I've said it to other people that are still with us over the years, you know, it's not about getting another 1 or 2% or something like 5% from a different company.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to look at it. It's about the relationships you build and where that's going to take you. That is such a strong thing that, and I'm sure Mike can tell you that.
Yeah. Not only that, and just the transparency, like on that call, I remember you saying, you know, 5% of what, if you don't know what you're getting on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, and we're very transparent here. You know, we send, you know, I tag all my drivers in with my emails to the brokers and everything, just so they can kind of see what's going on. But yeah, we had that conversation, and well, that's one of the reasons why I bought my truck the way I did. When I bought my truck, that first truck I bought, I borrowed Meadowlark had the down payment assistance. I borrowed $3,000 from them. I borrowed $3,000 from my grandmother, and like I didn't have any money for repairs. Like if something happened, I was like hoping Meadowlark would would back me, and you would, you know what I mean, Russ?
Yeah.
Like I was like,
you did have a warranty though. He had a really good warranty.
I did have a warranty, and I had the fact that I was like, well, I'll just live in this thing if I have to. Like I was,
good teammates. Yep.
I was, and I wasn't gonna go home, or I was literally in my mind. I was like, if I have to, I'll just live in this.
He's motivated to make it work, and that's what it takes.
Where I was. That's where I was at with it. So
I have to say too that I'm here for the relationship too. It's not, it's not about the money that you can make somewhere else. It's the relationship that I have with my office, with Russell, all of you guys in the office, and Metalurk. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I
brought up a really good subject here, Christian, that you tapped into.
I've definitely got to agree with that because I had Nathan knows he worked for me. I had 11 trucks at one time, and we were doing great. But I had a good relationship with the post office, but the post office is government, so they're not going to help you anyways. But the people that we were contracting through, I had a really bad relationship with them. I made good money, but the relationship wasn't there. And they kicked me to the curb and ended up causing me to lose everything that I had. So I didn't feel like I gained anything back until I came here and got with Russ. I mean,
I've said this too, Christian, about just our relationship with Metalurk as a whole. There's give and take. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect anywhere, but that relationship that we're learning over the years, we're learning to grow it. We're learning to fix the things that could be better on our end and their end. So, it's always going to be a two-way street. But I'm like these guys are saying and mentioning us. I mean, I'm saying it and mentioning Metalurk. I mean, you gotta appreciate those relationships that you have in this
and honor
business.
the other side. Yeah,
and I'm a guy, man, that likes stability, and this. I don't like change. I'm not big on. I never have, and I don't want to just because the car, the car's not as shiny anymore. And I see one next door that is. I don't need a new one. I like to continue to keep the train. I always think of it that way. Like, we got to keep the train oiled. We got to keep the train moving forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be running right now if it wasn't for the relationships that I've got with y'all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I want to be clear because obviously we can see revenue reports, as we look back at like contests and things like that, and it's you guys are all praising the relationships, which is great, but the money's also always there. I mean, you guys do have the best of both worlds, and we feel that our terminal has similar offerings as well. But I mean, I just want to make sure I speak on it. You guys do have great relationships, but you also have a fantastic team that provides that monetary support as well. It's great when you can have both, but most cases you don't. You either have a guy that doesn't treat you well and pays you well, or doesn't pay you well, and and tries to make up for it in other places. Yeah,
I can be honest with you. Anyone that's listening, any of our drivers out there, viewers, or people that don't know us, when I'm the sole owner of my company, and I've always believed, and I can't even tell you where I picked it up, but I've always believed that the best way that I can become successful is to help everybody around me. And honestly, I don't, I probably could have been done by now had I done things differently and been a little greedy, but I've never been that way. And, I got a long way to go before I'm done.
And the question is, would that make you happy if you did it the other way?
It wouldn't, because I'm getting more out of seeing Mike Doty grow into what he's become, watching Ray grow into what he's become, Kevin and Nate, these guys on our fleet, Jim Mackey, he's been at Metalurk for 10 years, been with us since 2017, since we came to Metalurk. And these relationships mean a lot to me. And it's Robert Selby, the list goes on. But those things are way more fulfilling than just what the bank account says and how quick I can get done and cash my chips in.
Yeah, so I was there kind of day one with Nikki, I guess week one, whatever it was, when the onboarding. And, my takeaway, I told Nikki, I said, it seems that Russ is a guy that applauds success. I think that's the only takeaway I took from your office. That was it from everybody I met in your office and everything else when you're on the second floor up there.
Yeah,
next to Al's. Next to Al's, right? That was next to
you
Al's.
came in. Yeah, right next to Al's. You came and visited when Mandy was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a rocky start too. I had a very rocky start whenever I got here, and that's a story for another day. But I was on a different fleet, and
it wasn't here, Ray. That wasn't. Yeah. That was before we came to Metal Arc.
Yeah, that was
just
before
to be
we
clear.
came to Metal Arc. But
yeah,
but
that company.
Just to be clear, though, I mean, I had a rocky start, and Russell, he took it upon himself to call me every day and even book me till I was able to actually jump over to his fleet, and he made that happen.
Keep in mind, drivers out there, Ray wasn't on my fleet. I had my own fleet, and another guy that we're still friends with was on my fleet, and he happened to know Ray. Ray was on a company fleet at this big company, and they didn't have very many agents, and I was one of them. I was their biggest one.
I say they're bankrupt now.
They're bankrupt now. I'm the only one that came out of there clean. But so what happened was Ray was sitting all over the country. He was about to just go home. He was, financially, he just can't do that. And so I started booking him because I found a way to do it where he could get the load and put it in the system, even though it wasn't on my fleet. It was on this company fleet. And I got him rolling.
It was interesting, that's for sure.
They didn't want to let him go. I had to call the vice president of the company, and this is a big, big company. I mean, I didn't know the guy. It wasn't, they're a 5,000 truck company. I got a hold of the vice president of the company, and then finally got an email from him to let this driver go. I pretty much cornered him and said, hey, you're going to lose a driver. You got so many. Why do you care? I care about this guy. And I didn't even know Ray, but absolutely, I said, just let me have him. I'll whatever we got to do, I'll get him a truck, whatever we got to do. Let me have him. And because I had a relationship with them and a contract, I had to go through this route, but I got it, and I got an email. Remember, Ray? And
you sent me the email, and
I was flashing that email around to all their fleets and dispatchers that were trying to keep Ray, but we're sitting him, and then so that's where he had the trouble, and then it's been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we got off on that, but
no, that's good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Christian, I'm sorry to bring that up, but
no, I like man. It. That's the reason we're here. We're to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the next bullet point. Know your value, right? Otherwise, nobody else will pay it. Russ knew your value, and you knew your value. You knew you were getting shorthanded, which is why you want to hang it up. And that is a two-way street. Now, speaking of hanging it up, in our office, if anybody in our office hangs up on someone, they're fired immediately. They walked out the door, grab your stuff and go. It is about mutual respect. There are rules to engagement. And I know this because, I made some bad decisions when I was younger about leaving a company, and it stuck with me that I didn't handle it properly, regardless of the circumstance. But I think you have to stay cordial no matter what. We all have stress, but you end up finding out that instead of leaving somewhere else to go find greener grass, put some fertilizer down and let it grow for a while. And you'll find out that you'll be much further along down the road than you are when you're hopping all around, like a lot of resumes we might get where guys switch months every 3 or 4 months. And then you know what the expectation is. You start to build a relationship.
Christian, if I might add, I like what you said though, but at the same time, I do have a status that I'm very proud of, and you can ask anybody in our office. I've never raised my voice, and I've never yelled at anybody over the phone. Never. I've never gone unhinged or nothing, because I feel that doesn't solve anything.
It doesn't, and I think Ray, anybody that knows you for 20 minutes knows that you're very soft spoken and level-headed. So yeah, that goes without saying. I think you knew that too, Christian.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I did when they gave him his medal, and then when I saw him get his jacket. Yeah, and by the way, but super humble about it. And I think that's the thing is, they're pendulums you get to swing on. You're raging mad over here, or you're not humble, you're too proud over here, and he stays right there in the center, and that's a safe place to be.
Yeah,
and that's the reason that guys that speak to him through the prayer group, or just through culting through like a peer mentorship. That's the reason, your fleet's the way it is. One of the reasons. And Jim and the rest of the guys too. I mean, I hear about the interactions between your drivers, and it's great, man. That's what the industry was built on.
Yeah.
As Christian says that, I look over at my smashed phone. As Christian says, anyone that hangs up on anyone gets fired. And I look at my smashed phone over here.
Well, so you can hang it. You can say, okay, thank you very much and goodbye, and smash and break it. That was my first.
I didn't hang up on her. I might have hung up on her, but I did smash the phone. This lady, it was the one time that I got really pissed, and she was so in the wrong that a couple months later, I had an email thread of like 30 emails, and it was over something so stupid. It was over like $150, but she was so in the wrong. And I was going to bat for one of my drivers, Lee, and she was trying to charge him a late fee. And she was so in the wrong, like 3 months later, out of nowhere, I won't say their name, this company, this broker sends the email with a rate con for $150. It was from upper management. I don't know if they got a hold of the email chain or whatever the case was, but it was like 3 months later.
Yeah, I
kind of got this apology email and the rate con for the $150. Tina knows about it.
I remember. Yeah, Tina told me about it when it finally came.
But let me be very clear here. We've all broken phones. I thought you had Tourette's one episode we didn't start yet, and you were cussing, and I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, you were so lively. But recognizing you don't burn down your own teammates. There might be brokerage houses, and you don't want to get a bad name for an authority. So there's a professional way to do it, like Russ did with the email after email after email. And there's strategy to it. But sometimes the phone needs to be broken. You just can't have somebody on the other end of it. So,
it was the one time. I'm usually pretty cool about stuff, but she really got to me.
Yeah,
and so did his cable company or internet company, the cable company. he one day he's like, I'm just firing them. They're done.
That was great.
Oh, you want Comedy Central? It's going to be in the another. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
And the end of this would be, I'd say something, but we're on the air. If the end of this is when you find your company, go to their website or ask them for it in their packet. Look at their mission, their vision, and their values. If it's we, or what we profess to be, but it doesn't include anything for you all that are on the road and driving, I say that as a transportation model, run the opposite direction. Because if they're not willing to put it on paper, if they're not willing to put it online, they're not going to live behind it. It's a standard. Every day you wake up and you have to make sure that you're making the right choices and having the right attitude and the right tones to you. So, for instance, and these are for our terminals. It's nothing for anybody to or not to look at. You can check it out. Every member's opinion is valued and heard, right? We're not perfect, but we strive towards constant improvement. We don't complain about a problem, we solve it, right? I mean, these are all ongoing forward-pressing issues. And we expect to be called out on it. So we talk to each other, not about each other. And so that's it. And then our company values, a compass is basically who you want to work for, and that's it. And we got our famous guy.
There we go.
Yeah, this isn't healthy. But neither is this.
He's back.
That's it. He's always be there.
We missed him for a couple weeks. Hey, Ray, how's the Cactus coming along?
Oh,
give us a little shot of that, and then we'll get on to the news.
Okay. Here we go.
I am really fascinated with this Cactus.
I'm wondering, is it gonna be brown or green?
Oh, it's kind of
still green.
Right here.
Those sausages look really good, though.
Those
Are they from Al's?
Yeah, so all the Cactus we moved over here because we got more heat over here, so it'll kind of cook a little faster. Try to get the chicken.
Flip one of those, Ray. Can you flip
good?
one so we can just kind of get an idea of?
So, question: outside of the time of 2 hours for 200, 250 years, how do you know when they're done? Is it like a texture? Is it?
What are you talking about? The
Cactus. The Cactus. The one thing I don't know
when it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. See, they're still a little gooey right here, so they'll start drying up and shrinking.
Okay.
And as they shrink, it'll kind of look kind of like a green bean a little bit, and that's when it's done.
All right.
Nice.
But see, they're starting to get their little color, but there's still smoke. But as I move them over here to the heat, they'll start shrinking a little bit more.
Okay, cool.
They'll get dehydrated.
Very cool. From the pool to the gabagool.
And I got steaks too, but I can't put those on yet until chicken's almost done because the chicken takes the longest.
Yeah. Ray's got it down. Always has. So
when
Ian,
he brings that cacti up there to Ohio for you to try it, Russ, I want to be there.
Okay. I'll keep it too. If he's got it frozen, I can bring the grill over here to the office and we can cook it up.
I didn't even know you ate cactus. I didn't even know you cooked cactus.
I didn't know it was a thing at all.
I didn't either. That's why I'm so fascinated.
Usually they're the baby cactus, and the brighter green ones. You don't want to eat the old ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to eat the young cactus, and Irene knows how to pick them. So I'll have her buy some, and when I run out up north, I'll bring you about a pound or two.
Yeah, you know, Virginia is just 300 miles away.
If you can go right. Well, he goes over by Roanoke every now, quite often.
So
in the summer.
Is there a way you clean them? So you before you cook them, like
it's not a fish, Mike. It's not like you're cleaning a fish.
Yeah.
They have
well, I mean, do you want a bunch of spines
in
your
fish,
mouth?
Mike.
Yeah.
It's not
Just pull the needles
spines.
off.
Yeah. Great.
Well, that's the reason why you get them when they're baby, because they don't have all the stickers. They don't have all the spines to them.
Oh, okay.
So, but if they do have a little, even if it may not have a spine, but it'll still have like a little green
barb.
Pulp, barb coming out of it, and we still clean those. We'll chop them all off.
Gotcha.
Just in case. But yeah, you want to get them when they're baby cacti. That way you don't have they taste better. It has a better quality taste.
Fascinating.
So it's much like cutting around the ribs on a fish, Mike. Same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Me too.
Yeah. That's what does it taste like? What do you compare it to?
It's like, I think it tastes kind of like a green bean, but the green beans are a little more crisp.
Really?
They have like a crisp to it, and this is like a.
Look at Mike's head is exploding over there.
I'm thinking like cactus casserole.
I love fresh green beans fried in a pan. I mean, I love.
Yeah, we're gonna get Christian some of the Ray. You're gonna have to freeze some cactus in your freezer in the truck. Stop in Roanoke. Stop up here. Whichever where you ever go first.
$6,000 worth of revenue to drop off $40 worth.
Yeah. He runs in this lane.
Russ should just go buy a new smoker and invite everybody up there and get Ray up there and make him do a barbecue.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that this summer. I did get a new deck. It's
I got
really
a cactus
big.
at my house. We could cook it up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a certain kind of cacti.
Nah, we'll just try all of
okay.
Yeah.
From talking cacti to talking trucking, Ian Dunlap on the news.
All right, we are joining Talkin Peyote over here. Now we're going to get to the news. All right, Jim, where is this?
Yeah. That's north of Kansas City, Interstate 29.
Correct. So this was the old Ferris truck stop. They had been open since 1976. Unfortunately, they closed just last year. But we are happy to say Pilot did move into their spot and did open up a new facility there. So one truck stop gone, another one added. Unfortunately, it's not a small mom and pop one, but
we miss those mom and pop ones. But at least they still got truck parking.
It's a very good place.
Yeah, seven showers, 8 diesel lanes. But has the showers, go right in. Yeah. A little bit of port action going on. Russ had touched on it earlier.
96 at anchor.
Quite a few more that are just outside that.
40-mile mark is what they called it. So you're not at anchor, you're drifting.
A bunch of them are drifting down here by Baja, Mexico.
Yeah, there's 56 sitting out there just outside the 40-mile mark, which on average, the 40-mile mark, those ships that are drifting are taking 28 days to unload. The 96 at anchor are averaging 21 days.
That's what a bunch of these guys are, just floating around out here, much like Ray in his pool with his floaty.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, there really wasn't many articles about the ports. Some saying they're getting better, some saying that they are not. But as we can see, it's still very, very busy. A lot more over here in Houston than there has been. They mostly just seen tankers and quite a few outside of Savannah as well. The wrong direction here. There we go. Up in Manitoba, the border with the U.S., there was about 400 trucks that were stuck there near the border due to a snowstorm. So just a reminder to always keep a good amount of food with you, other supplies. It's not bad to have a sleeping bag, even if you're not expecting to use it. If you run out of fuel, it gets cold, you're going to need something. So always have a few extra supplies with you.
Or find another driver if you run out of fuel. That's
find a good buddy to cuddle up with.
Yeah, you can use his top bunk.
Use your reefer. Run around.
Yeah.
And then for you Mad Max fans, I know we probably have some. They are going to be auctioning off all of their vehicles from the last movie, including this bad boy here, the War Rig,
the tanker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
it's not even any headlights.
You do have to ship it from Australia, but I think this should be the new Talkin Truckin rig. What do you guys think?
I like it.
I think if they give us those big
guys who
poles
play,
to launch on and off of it, I'm in.
Yeah, we have to get those guys who play guitar and drums on top of it.
Yeah.
Would that pass an inspection?
Depends on who's doing it.
Oh yeah. No, I think any
there's
inspector
no
is
mud
going to
flaps.
see either dollar signs or they are going to run away.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, I just want to share this quick dash cam footage that I think it was over in Arizona. This is a very similar system to ours, not from our company though. As you can see, somebody cut off this driver here, and look who was right there.
Ooh, nice.
Street justice. I love it.
I love it. That's great.
Man.
Love when that happens.
Yep.
But
I think they should start to put officers in the rig and just throw the lights on the rig and pull them over with 18-wheelers. That would be
Well,
dope.
you know what?
We
Speaking of
got
that,
it in Florida.
Christian,
Nevada.
Really?
I was going to say, I saw that on YouTube. There was an officer that was riding around in a rig, a DOT officer,
That's awesome.
and they
Yeah,
were
Nevada.
nailing cars. They were pulling them over. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
cool.
there's
If
the
Ian, if
DOT
you Google,
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Mike.
Ian, if you Google the Florida State Trooper rig or whatever it is,
this
you
it?
could probably. Yep. that's
Yeah.
it. Look at it.
Florida's
There you
got
go.
one, and
So
so
awesome.
does,
Look at that.
so does Tennessee. Tennessee has one also.
Go figure they'd have a chrome bumper, but yeah.
Indiana's generally runs around Indianapolis on 465. Yep.
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah, I
pretty
know.
scary seeing that coming up behind you.
Well, the video I saw, Mike,
I just
was
drive faster.
the law enforcement officer, and I'm pretty sure it was a DOT officer, but they were targeting four-wheelers, the four-wheelers that were cutting off trucks, just like that video that he showed you.
Yeah. I think that video might have been the one from Indiana. I think it might have
Oh no, that one that I just pulled up was Tennessee. Here's I got
was
another
it?
picture. But bam, there we go.
Lately, I've been having
Oh, there you
problems
go.
with trucks cutting me off their cars.
Really?
It's probably a little of both. Yeah.
Kind of shows them they're coming from Tennessee. It's a little bit of a dead giveaway.
Oh,
Thinking more of
speaking
like
of
undercover,
police,
you know.
police and truckers, I was watching a show from Britain with police that were dealing with drivers or lorries, and there was a driver who had false logs. He had multiple books with him. Well, they have a little bit different system, but for violating his hours and basically going and picking up a load when he wasn't supposed to, he was arrested on the spot and removed from the vehicle, and they had to have somebody else come and pick it up. So a little bit of a different system there. I don't think that would ever happen here.
Were they driving a Peterbilt?
A Peterbilt? No, it was a Volvo, I think.
Peterbilt.
Beautiful cab over, though. So.
Well, listen, guys.
Until you hear, they'll just escort you to the nearest truck stop and then shut you down for 10 hours.
Yeah, and fine you out the wazoos after that. But no, he was actually arrested and in handcuffs.
And keep this in mind. I think you mentioned it to me over the last week, Ian, between shows. But Ohio got some new scales, some portables.
Yeah, Ohio did get a new truck for their portable scales.
And this is, Christian, we talked about it a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, where it happened, where I've seen it firsthand, where Ohio DOT officers were in the rest area where I would stop on my way back. I was hauling beer runs from Miller Coors by Dayton up to the Cleveland area every day. And they were knocking on doors when I was taking my break I wasn't doing a 10-hour break. I was doing like my half-hour break on the way back. And they were doing knocking on doors of people that were taking a break at the truck stop. At the rest area.
So give you here a little visual of what to watch out for. Here you go.
That's $90,000 sitting right there, fellas.
Wow,
I was gonna say, keep me out of Ohio
man.
for a while.
Not with the updates either. Phew.
Give them
They're
time
trying to be.
pay that
They want to
truck
be
back.
like Texas.
And I can tell you where they're working, but the stretch of on I-70 from Dayton to Columbus, going either way, and then from Columbus, Ohio, up to the Cleveland area on I-71. That's where they love to work that. So if you do, maybe avoid that.
And to be clear to any officers, we do support law enforcement, first responders, unless you have chicken stuff citations.
I mean, I'll be the first to say that with you, Christian. We do, but at the same time, we don't want to be picked on either.
Right.
Absolutely.
Be fair.
Yeah.
Be
fair.
just. Don't
Do
be
your
looking
do
at
your job and
drivers
get the
with-
bad guys.
And we're trying to do our jobs too. So,
Yep.
and we're trying
That's
to keep it clean.
you know, here in Texas, most of our DOT officers are mobile. They got their mobile skills. They got everything you need in that SUV.
Yeah.
They don't. That's why when you come to Texas, most of our skills are closed. You know, because every time you see a DOT officer, they got everything that they need
got
to
portables,
conduct. Yeah.
I got pulled on portables not only in Ohio but in Colorado once. I don't remember. I think I was on 25, but I could have been on 70 at that point. But Colorado pulled me, and I was good. They did weigh me and inspect me, and I was good. But Colorado does it too. All right. Well, that was a good talk today, guys. Christian, Mike, anyone got anything else?
Miss you, Joel.
Miss you,
Good
Joel.
stuff, man. Good
Yeah, miss
stuff.
Joel being here.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
hope
Don't forget
everything
the clutch
comes out
go.
okay for
Yeah, it's a real bummer that he can't be.
He said everything comes out okay. That's great.
I know, right? Well, Joel.
Wait.
It's the end.
Wait,
Joel.
Wait, we had a bonus question. Remember?
We did it. That was the singing question.
No,
Oh,
no.
wait.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Let's do this before we get out of here. This is pretty good. So this is for whoever gets this the least right, the one that's furthest away from Ian's answer. And I don't know the answer either. So Ian looked it up. He's the only one that knows. Whoever gets it the furthest away from the right answer has to put $20 in the St. Jude's. How you guys in?
We need to write this down real quick.
I'm in.
sure.
All right. It's for St. Jude's. And by the way, Carol's already talking to St. Jude's. We talked about it today. She's going to figure it all out over the next few weeks, and then we'll take care of that.
I've
I'm
got
ready to write down
a
answers.
custom Talkin Truckin giant check, so
I
I have
love
to meet
it.
you down there.
I love it. I love it. She's and it's definitely going from Talkin Truckin to them, so that'll be really cool. So
That's
what,
awesome.
Ian? What is the question?
In the United States of America, yearly, how many colonoscopies are performed?
This is Awareness Week, so let me think about this too.
Did you say yearly
Yearly?
Yes, in the United States.
in the United States? Okay.
What's the population of the United States? 300?
350 million.
325, 350.
Yeah,
somewhere in between there.
like 325. Yeah.
325.
And you figure 78 million of those are 0 to 17. It's 250 roughly.
Let me get my calculator. Hold on.
I don't know. I'm sitting here looking at Christian figure this all out.
I'm gonna say 5 million.
Okay, Russ is 5 mil.
I'll say 15 million.
I'll say 20.
5.
25.
15.
25.
Race-
I'll go with 25 million.
Ray says
25 million.
25.
20.
2250.
Price is right.
If I say 21, I won't be the
22,500.
furthest away.
That's where I'm at.
I'm going. Oh man, I don't even know. 30 million.
Is that everybody? Zach?
Nate?
No.
I said 20. I'm gonna go with 32 million.
32 million. All right.
Uh,
Zach?
18.7.
18.7. So I was the lowest. I said 5. Who was
Is
the
that right?
highest?
18.7?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Christian,
haven't,
is
I,
that
haven't,
you?
I haven't gone yet. I don't know whether I want to guess the real guess and lose and pay, or just play it safe and go at 23. I'll just say 23. I don't want to lose any
23
money.
million.
23.
So who was the
I
highest
think it's gonna be
number?
47.
32 by Kevin.
Yes.
32. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the lowest. What is the answer?
The answer is 19 million.
So
that
5,
would be me.
19, 14 million away. I am.
At-
I
at
lost.
20.
Oh, Zach said 18.7.
He was the
million,
closest. Yeah. I was the furthest.
What did you say?
So
Yeah,
Said
Ian
5
told me
million.
the answer earlier.
So
That's why I answered last.
It's gonna be great when Tina kicks you off your own show. I can't.
I
wait.
know, right?
So,
It's like, we're having
next
financial
closest-
struggles because of all your donations.
Next
Well, Mr.
closest,
Whiskers,
I
we
have,
can't afford the wet food. Outside you go.
Yes.
That's right at about
Fend for yourself.
5% of the population gets
So I had wrote
colonoscopy.
down Kevin as 20 million. So
Well, you said what
win.
was the answer?
No,
19.
I had 20 million. Kevin had.
I
had 32 million.
I mixed you two. Okay.
He had 32 million, but I was still further away at 5 million. However, tomorrow that answer is going to change. It will be 19 million and one because Joel will have one.
Maybe they'll do it twice for him just to make sure they're thorough.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He said he's going to call me during the procedure, so we'll see.
Yeah. I just hope for.
He opted to be awake for it.
I would say I hope for Joel's sake. His doctor's not like my grandfather's doctor who used to perform colonoscopies and other prostate exams on him, who was an ex-football linebacker who had fingers the size of those sausages. that
they don't use a
raised,
finger.
More his Super Bowl rings.
Oh, I'm talking about his prostate exam too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody
Well-
lose a 49 Super Bowl championship?
And I know it's been fun and games making fun
So-
of Joel during this colonoscopy thing, but I will tell you guys, like I said earlier, it's important not to be ashamed of, to get it out there and just talk about it, because it can save your life. And I know a lot of people, in my age group and above, at 50, you should get it. Matter of fact, the only reason my doctor said she was going to send me, I don't have any issues, but she said I would send you now because you're close to 50, but your insurance won't cover it until you're over 50. So a lot of insurances wait. That's why they send you at 50.
It's like, darn.
Most insurance, yeah. So
I have a story about the prostate exam thing real quick that my
go
brother
ahead.
told me when he was in medical school. Yeah, he was in med school, and he said there was a guy. So he's in medical school. I don't know how.
This is
many
your brother,
students.
right?
Yeah, it's early on in med school, and I don't know how many people are in each class, but there was a guy that would volunteer. Same guy every semester, every year, that volunteered to be the prostate dummy, I guess you could say.
Oh my god!
You didn't sound like a dummy to me.
That all the students used that practiced
Oh
on.
my god!
And my brother said this dude was so awkward that, like, when my brother was putting the gloves on, and they had a nickname for him, and I'll have to ask my brother what it is.
Loose lips Larry, I bet.
And they had a nickname for him. I'll have to ask him what it is. But my brother said, it's so weird. He's putting on the gloves, and the guy's like, and he's up there, and he's like, "Ooh, you got slender fingers,
Oh, no.
Weird comments."
So Mike,
Like,
your
just
brother
so
had to do
awkward.
that, and
man.
your brother had to do that to become an eye doctor.
well,
Seeing the relationship here. Or maybe that was before he decided which direction to go, up or down.
Yeah, well, no, that's the
Chicken
beginning
eye.
of medical school. You don't
Yeah.
know really which way you're going to go, and then
Legitimately don't know which way
further
to
Legitimately,
along.
down or back or front, up or down.
He had
Yeah,
said
that's
that
just
he wanted to
like-
work with
general stuff.
balls,
He had
but
to do that
meant eyeballs.
early on. That was
In his
probably
defense,
the first year.
you can have anal cavities and tooth cavities. In his defense,
But he's not a dentist. He's an eye doctor.
I can
He could have
remember
cataracts.
My late wife was talking to the doctor. He wanted to look at her esophagus, and he also wanted to look at her colon. And he reassured her they'd use a different
yeah, different device.
On that note, get a colonoscopy done if you're above 50. And thanks, Joel, for being such a team player and letting us make fun of you a little bit. And we missed you.
Yeah. One thing.
I got you. Hang on.
Okay.
Truckworx, Kenworth of Dothan, Alabama. Over the road apparel. Prime Wellness and Performance. Al's Market and the Gator Drive-Thru. We appreciate you guys being a part of our show. And then Kumar.
Don't forget to like our pages, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Talkin Truckin, and that's all.
Cool.
Like and
Guys, have a
subscribe.
great, safe week. We'll talk to you later. Go Indians. Go Guardians. Go Browns. Go Cavaliers.